So, there's your permit, Joe.
Thank you.
Look, are you sure that Mike and Peter aren't going to be in your way?
Oh, look, they're going to be too busy, George.
Doing what, asking questions?
Looking for treasure.
What?
Used to be an old Indian village up there. So while I take a little holiday, they're going to dig around looking for arrowheads and stuff.
Are you serious?
Well, sure. Bring them back and sell them to visitors, maybe.
Boy, they've sure got the money bug lately, haven't they?
Well, look, it's not such a bad idea. They start finding anything, and I probably do a little digging, too.
Well, have a good time at it, Joe.
We see you 3-4 days, okay?
Right.
All set, Joe?
All set.
Well, go on. Ask him. Hey, Joe.
Yes?
Well, we've been having a little argument out here about what the fringe is for. Like on your jacket, I mean.
Well, what do you think it's for?
Well, I say it's just for decoration, but Pete says it probably means something.
Like what?
Like magic or something.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it means. It means that if you can walk fast enough to keep up with me, we make it to Pine River by lunchtime tomorrow. So let's go, okay?
Let's hope this trip is going to be profitable. Because it's sure not going to be informative, obviously. Well, come on, Topper.
Meanwhile, the search goes on for a small passenger plane, flown out into the bush early this morning by millionaire industrialist and aviator J. Harry Rogers, last reported having engine trouble over Barry's Bay. The plane's disappearance adds another and perhaps final touch of mystery to the enigmatic career of this one-time international playboy. It was typical of Rogers that not even his closest associates seemed aware that he had decided to take off on a solo flight to remote Ross Station, where he is now reported more than 10 hours overdue.
They don't know any more than we do, obviously.
Well, as a matter of fact, we know something they don't know for once. Why he was going to Ross Station.
Why? Mining survey?
Yeah, that's right. Seems that, as usual, he didn't quite trust his own experts, apparently. Well, I just had a call from headquarters. They suggested we forget about the section between here and Pine River now and try working out further north and east tomorrow. Okay?
Well, I haven't any better ideas for the moment, so we'll see you in the morning.
Right. George.
Yeah?
Do you think he's got a chance out there?
Well, all I know is what they say about him. Tough, stubborn, and lucky, Sergeant.
Well, it sure better be.
In other words, you work for Mr. Rogers.
That's right.
In what capacity?
All kinds of capacities. I'm like a lot of guys. I was in the Army with them. Luckiest thing ever happened to me.
So just what did you have in mind?
Well, I've got some papers here for him to sign. If he's still alive, that is.
I beg your pardon?
Well, this is as close as any place else to where he happens to be at the moment, so I just thought I'd come out here and wait and see what happens, okay?
You mean you came all the way up from New York just to...
Look, you don't know this guy.
Well, very few people do, apparently, but...
Well, what you got to remember is he started out with $1 million. Now he's got $400 million. And he did it all strictly on his own. Out of his head, you might say.
So?
So you never can tell. The stuff might be very important to him. With Harry, you got to play the long shot sometimes. Of course, on the other hand, if you people don't happen to find him...
Yes.
Well, let's just call it a question of friendship. We all want to do anything we can for the guy, naturally. So I'd just like to sit down over there and wait. If I bother you, just say the word and I'll take a walk or something. Okay?
Have a seat, Mr. Hoskins.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe, do you hear another one?
What do you think's going on up there?
Well, somebody having fun, I guess.
But way out here, that's the fourth time this afternoon.
Can't be a fire patrol anyway, because they don't fly that low usually. Unless...
Well, one thing's sure. No fire today. So we find out when we get back home, I guess.
You know what, Joe? If you'd have let us bring the radio along on this trip, all we'd have to do is...
Look, I told you, if you want to carry a lot of Indian treasure back, you got to travel light. Mind our own business for a change, huh? And they're not looking for us.
And this is it?
Yep, that's it.
But where's the old village?
Over on the other side. You want to stop here, rest, have lunch, or you want to go on over to where we make camp?
Well, how much farther is it?
Oh, it'll take about another hour, probably.
Well, I don't know about you, Mike, but I'd rather push on. Get to where we're going, okay?
Sure. Lead the way, Joe. Hey, Topper! Come here, boy!
Sounds as if he's found a woodchuck or something. Want to go and take a look?
Yeah, I think maybe we better.
Hey, Topper, come on, boy. Sit down. That's a good boy.
You know, you should have let him come in at me. I would have killed him, probably.
I beg your pardon?
But then if I'd missed, he would have chewed me up. And that would have ruined your investment, wouldn't it? Huh?
What are you talking about? What are you doing way out here?
Waiting for you, naturally. Some other vultures like you trying to pick up a fast buck. I'm sorry to break your hearts, fellas, but I can make it on my own.
What's he talking about?
What I'm talking about is the fact I don't need any help. But you're wasting your time here. There'll be no reward, you understand? So you can go on back to where you came from. Which is probably very close, obviously. Oh! Well, thanks for not smiling, gentlemen.
What makes you so sure we want to?
Because the poet Lucretius once remarked, Suavi mari magno turbantibus, etc., etc. Which means, in very rough translation, there's nothing so amusing as looking down at some jerk who's been walking around all morning with some slightly sprained ankle. Well, how far is it back to what you call civilization around here? What, 3 or 4 miles, maybe?
More like 25.
You serious?
You got some friends out here? A camp or something?
I got nothing but what you see here.
Well, you'll never make it alone, mister.
You say that with a certain air of assurance.
I know this country. And I also know, I think you better let me take a look at that.
No, I just want you to notice now, I didn't ask him. He volunteered. All right, go on. Be my guest.
You walked on this?
There were no cabs, Buster.
Oh, you're a pretty tough fella. Because, you know, she's not sprained. She's broken, mister.
That makes it interesting, eh?
But you don't have to worry. We take care of you.
You agree with him, I suppose, eh?
Look, mister, if he says your leg is broken...
Yeah, I know. He's got a very quick mind. And you're right with him. Look, you think because I've got a little bit of money, that makes me some kind of a sucker? And you can talk me into needing you? Well, I've got news for you. I don't need you or anybody else. You know that back home. Now, just get back, please. Go on. Get your hands off me. I'm going to show you something. There's nothing wrong with me. I can manage myself.
Don't be scared. Give me some water. Okay, I got it now. Yeah. So now you know what fringe is for, huh?
You mean this isn't just something you thought of?
No, a very old Indian idea. You tear them off, tie them together, and you always got plenty of good, strong line if you need it. Used for fishing, fix snowshoes, all kinds of things.
Joe, these okay for stretcher poles?
Yeah, fine. Put them back there where they'd be ready, please. That ought to hold them for a while. Still unconscious, I guess.
Looks that way.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing for him. I'll go wash up now, and then we start getting ready for home. You stay here with him, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Boy, this sure turned out to be some treasure hunt. We no sooner get here than this
Oh,
happens.
look, it's not his fault.
Oh, I know, but every time we try to make some money...
Will you relax? Hey, Mike.
Yeah?
I think he's waking up a little.
You know, I haven't been asleep, actually.
What? You mean you've been lying here and...
Well, gee, if we had known that you were feeling anything, we'd have...
You got a strong arm, boy?
Yes, I guess so. Why?
Your hand.
What do you want to do?
Just sit up and see what you did to me.
Gee, I don't think you ought to.
Look, Buster, it's my leg. Now, give me your hand. Well, that looks pretty impressive, doesn't it?
Does it hurt? I mean, how do you feel?
As if I were being taken advantage of, naturally.
What do you mean?
The next step, I suppose, is for you to ask me who I am and how I got here, right?
Well, we'd like to know, naturally.
My name is Eva Schultz. I just got down from heaven on a sled, okay?
What?
You know perfectly well who I am. Like everybody else in this hemisphere, you heard all about it on the radio yesterday.
Well, unfortunately, we haven't our radio stuff with us. If we did, there wouldn't be any problem.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, usually when we're out in the bush, we carry a two-way set. Walkie-talkie. You can call in and have someone take you out by helicopter.
Wouldn't that spoil the whole point of your little expedition? I mean, let's face it. Now, you've gone to all this trouble. You wouldn't want to share the glory with anybody.
Mister, you seem to have the idea that we came here just to rescue you.
How would you prefer to phrase it? That you were wandering around looking for buried treasure or something?
As a matter of fact, that's exactly what we were doing.
Well, it probably sounds silly, but it's the truth, mister.
Yeah, well, look. The truth is what I believe, not what you tell me, kid. And here's what I believe.
What?
Item one, that I don't have a broken leg.
What?
But that is to your advantage to make me think you think it is, because it shows you've taken a lot of trouble with me.
Look, are you...
Item two, you have it in mind to pass yourselves off as a couple of innocent little Boy Scouts who by sheer accident happen to stumble on a chance to do a so-called good deed, and for which, like every Boy Scout in history, expects to get paid off in cash eventually.
Oh, come on.
And item three, all I really need is about 24 hours sleep. And when I get that underneath my belt, you're gonna be surprised, Buster.
Joe! Please. Please.
Go on, Mr. Hoskins.
Well, you got to admit that it looks kind of suspicious that he could just totally vanish like this, doesn't it?
No. It's a big, wild country, and there's an awful lot of it out there.
Yeah, I know, but let's face it, look, nobody actually saw him crash. Now, he could have turned around, flown down to Mexico, and left me and the stockholders and everybody else kind of holding the bag, couldn't he?
In other words, what you're suggesting is that this whole thing is a hoax.
No, please, I didn't say that. And if you find him, don't you say I did either. Oh, he's a very sweet guy. I'd do anything in the world for him, but, like I say, with Harry, you never know. And it kind of worries me a little. Because, you see...
Yes?
Well, look, if he's alive up here, that's great. I'm okay. If he's dead up here, well, I'm still okay. Because I get the bad news before anybody else, and I can sell short, naturally. But if this is a phony, well, you and I are going to look like a great pair of suckers, aren't we?
Mr. Hoskins, you don't mind if I get back to work now, do you?
Oh, please, by all means.
Thank you.
I think it's about time we switch again, okay?
Sure, whatever you say, Joe.
Pete? Yeah? Gonna stop down here, rest a while.
Oh, great. Oh.
Well, how are you feeling?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
You know, I've just been lying here, savoring it.
What?
How famous you expect to be. Two little heroes and their faithful Tonto. Oh, I bet you can hardly wait, eh?
Mike? I think he needs a drink of water, maybe.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you. Hey, would you like to hear a little quotation I just made up?
Sure. What is it this time?
Let there be a rich man in trouble, and he shall have many helpers, all hoping to profit thereby. Oh, I've got him in New York, I've got him in Vegas, I got him in California. And they're all just like you. They make me sick to my stomach, unfortunately.
Look, mister.
Yes?
Why do you have to be so rude all the time?
Because it amuses me. You want to know why it amuses me? Because people invariably take it. In exchange for money, or even the slightest hint of money, they take it from me. And so do you, I notice.
Well, we haven't much choice. We're stuck with you.
Oh, no. Not for very long, Buster.
What's that supposed to mean?
I was under the impression that you expect to deliver me in Indian River tomorrow.
We will if our legs hold out.
Well, if they don't, maybe I'll come out and help carry you in, okay? You know, you really ought to try to smile sometimes.
Think we'll make it?
Well, as I just finished saying to our friend over there, we don't have much choice, do we?
Nope. None whatever.
And the only other thing is Charlie saw a campfire up around Pine River on his way home, but he figured that must be just Joe and the boys.
Did he check?
Close enough to see 2 or 3 people moving around, which is not what we're looking for, obviously.
Well, if that's the lot, let's knock it off. Go home and get some sleep.
Yeah. What about your visitor?
He's got a room over at Fred's. Hey, mister. Come on now, closing time.
You mean you're giving up already?
Just till tomorrow. Now, come on your way.
What's the matter, boy? Something wrong? You know which way you go? Come on, you show me. I see him. You go back now.
Oh, you're sure persistent, aren't you?
You know, I think you're crazy, maybe.
It's a free country, isn't it?
You're not even going in the right direction. You go straight on out that way, 50 mile, and you still not come to any place.
You know, you understand, I think, that at no point in our association have I ever believed one single word you've said to me. So now, look, go on back. Sit by your little campfire and toast marshmallows or something.
You mean you just want to go out there and die?
Well, no. Not if I can help it. No, of course not.
Well, that's fine. Because I don't let you, mister.
Look, Buster, I'm accustomed to doing as I please.
Fine. When you get home, you do that. But right now, you happen to be my responsibility. Unfortunately. So.
If you had any pride, you know, you'd leave me here. I suppose that's asking too much of anybody. All right, anytime you're ready, Tonto.
XNY556 calling GM, Jack Apple Yellow. Come in, please. Very good. I'll relay those arrangements as soon as possible. Over and out.
Keeley, will you give me half of this chair, please?
Certainly.
Keeley?
I'll just go and get my hat and I'll be right back, okay, boss?
How do you feel, sir?
Like a man with a broken leg, naturally.
Well, you'll be home pretty soon. You're going to wear old Joe's contraption back to New York as a souvenir, I take it.
It seems to be the professional opinion not to have it changed for the moment.
Thanks, Doc. Send the bill to the New York office, will you, please? What about our transportation? Any word yet?
Oh, yes. I just had confirmation. Be a helicopter here to pick you up in about 20 minutes, sir.
Means you'll be safe out of town before the press and television guys get here.
I should hope so.
Well, everything worked out just like I said it would, right, boss? And you know how I did it? I said to myself, what would you do if you were in my situation?
Chief Ranger,
Yes, sir.
where are those kids and that Indian or whatever he is?
Well, they'll be on their way to the old fort by now, I imagine.
Thank you. Find out where it is and get somebody to help insert me into that silly car of yours and drive me out there.
Look, boss, that's a very sweet idea,
Look, don't
certainly.
start telling me what you've arranged for me, Buster. Because if you don't want to do it, somebody else will, I'm sure.
Okay, Keeley, which way they go?
Well, you know who I am by now, I presume.
Yes, they told us.
Seems you were right about my leg. Also saved my life, apparently.
So?
So how much do you want? Look, I don't want to fool around with this. How much do you want? 10,000, 15, you name it.
Joe, you tell him.
Mister, we find a sick dog out there. We would have brought him in same way. Exactly.
Meaning?
You want to do us a favor now? Just move the car out of the way, please. So we don't have to walk around him.
You heard the man. Move it.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess you just saved yourself some money, boss.
Yeah. And you know what you just did with that remark?
What?
Saved me some more. Because you just lost your job, Buster.
Joe, how about the weekend of the 14th?
For what?
Go back to Pine River, search for arrowheads.
You still want to do that?
You got any better ideas for making some easy money?
Okay. We try it again, huh?